This is a small school. Everyone knows everything about everyone, and I literally know Perry better than anyone else. I know him. We grew up together since we were 3. We're best friends. I know everything about him. I know him. And he's a good student. He is, but his grades are not better than mine. His SAT scores are not better than mine. I actually do like 1,000,000 more extracurriculars than he does. He just does that like computer science club, which isn't even a real club, and basketball and baseball. And I'm a little better at basketball and he's a little better at baseball, but neither of us is getting recruited anytime soon. I took 3 APs this year, he only took 2, and he did maybe 10 extra hours for Stockings with Care. But that doesn't get you into Yale. And then I thought, how did I not see this coming? That it was never about. It was always about, like that weekend we toured colleges with his family. A couple times it was just you, me, Perry, and Ginny. And when Perry's with his mom, you can't always tell. But when Dawn was there, and Perry stood next to him, all of those admissions counselors with the same vague, phony, bullshit persona suddenly, came alive. They made more eye contact with him, paid attention to him more, laughed more at every dumb thing that came out of his mouth. So smug, so full of themselves. I mean, they're changing the world on the daily, and it was like, I am standing right here. I am a human being, and I am standing right here. I am drowning, okay? I am. I'm not one of those. I get that there are entitled white men who actually assume that they earn a seat without having to do anything. I mean, I do go to Hillcrest after all, and I do have eyes, but I've actually worked really fucking hard to earn a seat here, and every time I get close, it's like, ew, not you, go away, nobody wants you here, fuck off. And it's all I hear. Like fucking Joanna Feldstein in English last week. We were reading Willa Cather, who was not only a woman, but was basically a lesbian. And Joanna was like, it is soul-crushing to read so many books by white people. Why can't we ever read a book by people of color? And I was like, first of all, we barely ever read books by white people anymore, thanks to my parents actually, but also, you're white, Joanna. So what are you talking about? Do you hate yourself? Because you say white like you hate yourself. And I'm not an idiot. I don't have white pride, but I don't hate myself. And Cristobal Hernandez was like, I'm also sick of reading all of these white books. And I'm like, Cristobal, you're white too. And he was like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, no, I'm not. You're white. You're from Chile. Who from Chile is white? Indigenous people aren't white. African slaves, they're not white either. If you're white, that means your ancestors were colonizers, not the colonized. The only way you would be white is if you're albino, and you don't seem albino to me. And Joanna was like, maybe you can shut up and listen for once. And I was like, I do listen all the time, but also class participation is like a huge part of my grade. So if I don't speak, I actually hurts my chances of getting into a good college because I don't have any special boxes to check off. So I have to speak. My whole future depends on it. I need to prepare you for something.
Go, I'm listening.
Okay. So, an editorial is coming out in today's paper, and I wrote it. And it's, kind of a big deal.
Okay.
And, it, talks about how I did something, and, it's kind of, a big thing that I did, and, the thing, and, it's,
Not somebody likes Charlie.
Sorry. I'm nervous. Okay, it's about something I did. And I don't want you to be upset or embarrassed if people ask you about it. So I'm telling you, so you know about it before the paper comes out.
What did you do?
So I kind of,
Charlie, spit it out.
okay, so I kind of pulled my applications.
What does that mean, pulled them? What do you mean?
I wrote all the schools that I applied for and told them to stop considering my application.
What are you talking about?
And then I wrote the editorial that's going to be published today explaining why I did it and what I did, and
You rescinded your applications?
yeah,
When did you do this?
a week ago.
What the fuck were you thinking?
So you're not proud of me.
Proud of? Are you out of your mind?
I was trying to live, to be the change I wanted to see in the world.
Fuck the change. You pulled your application?
If there are going to be new voices at the table, someone he has to stand up and offer someone else his seat.
Are you out of your mind?
I'm still going to go to college, community college.
Community college?
You don't have to go to an Ivy to be successful. A lot of smart people didn't even go to college.
Charlie.
Mark Zuckerberg didn't finish school.
He went to Harvard.
Yeah, but he dropped out.
Of Harvard.
But what about diversity?
We're not talking about diversity. We're talking about you, Charlie. You.
But don't I have a responsibility to do my part to make the world look the way that I want it to look?
No.
No?
No. Leave that to the admissions officers, okay? You're not going after the spots for minorities. You're going up for the white boy spots. So you take that white boy spot.
But I don't want it. And I can do something about it, which is why I probably should have run this by you before. I realize that now, but in hindsight, it's 2020, right?
What did you do? What else did you do?
So, this is the question, right? That I've been asking myself. How can I make a difference? If I rescue myself, is that enough? Part of why colleges will want me is because I can pay my own way, knowing that my white parents are paying for their white son to go when a totally deserving student of color doesn't get to come to Hillcrest in the fall because there isn't enough financial aid. And
No.
doesn't that make you a little sick to your stomach?
No.
I would like to donate the money you would have spent on college to start a scholarship for a student of color at Hillcrest, so you can reach 20%. Now you have the money.